All right. Welcome back to Miami, Florida for day 3 of Grand Slam Track. Chris Chavez alongside Aisha Proutlier, Eric Jenkins, and Anderson Emerald as we unpack all of the action that took place today. Straight up finals, 8 Slam champions crowned. Let's talk about slamming. Eric, what was your favorite part of the day?
Ooh, favorite part of the day. I thought the 5K, I thought seeing Grant Fisher run away like that was fun with the 5K. Good to see Mary Mora have a huge redemption run after some not ideal races in these Grand Slam races. So that was fun to see. And then the stars showed up. Sydney, of course, running really well. Kenny looking fantastic. So there are a lot of good races. It's kind of hard for me to pick my favorite, but yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't want to listen to 45 more minutes of us...
just recap the whole thing for us.
Eric just recapped the whole day in like 20 seconds. Love it. Aisha, we're done. Aisha also has a flight to catch in 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, if I disappear, I disappear.
All right, well, that'll be a fun bit as we watch. We're on our toes. All right, Aisha, your favorite part of the day?
My favorite part of the day was how the crowd showed up despite how it was raining all morning. We weren't sure if there was going to be a delay, what was happening, but the crowd was here. Everyone was on their feet, super loud, a lot of energy, and track fans they're here. They're showing up.
Did you get here early enough that you had to shelter in place or no?
Oh, no. What happened?
Really? Well, so apparently when lightning strikes here, you can't be anywhere near the track, and so you just had to shelter. You had to go, there were spectators here because of the kids races that they had beforehand, and then you have to wait 30 minutes after the last lightning strike in order to resume action. And so once it cleared up, but in that time period you had to just shelter in place and not leave that room. So the media room was totally packed with people, and I was just what if I wanted to go to the concession stands or something like that. And
What
it's
if you got to go to the bathroom?
There is a bathroom in the media
fair.
room, but in general, I was this is pretty strict. But yeah, shelter in place is also just a scary term. I think hurricane, all that kind of stuff. It's it was just one lightning. But anyway, Anderson, we're safe.
We're all good. We're all
and it's nice and sunny. There's actually a rainbow that over there. So Anderson, your favorite part?
Similar. I think the energy. I think the energy held up all throughout the weekend, and it consistently grew and grew. That's what I really loved. Everyone came out despite the rain, despite the lightning. I felt the energy in Miami for day 3. So yeah.
So there it is. I mean, the concept of the league is working.
Yeah.
Athletes are buying in. The fans and everyone are learning kind of throughout the process. And I think now at this point, we're halfway through the whole season series, and so I think that it's setting up very nicely for Philly and LA to just be even more spectacular. So
if you're on the fence about maybe going to a slam, maybe not, I will say being halfway through, I'm already nostalgic. I don't want it to end. So I encourage you, if you are thinking about it, go to a slam.
Yeah, if
it's
you're thinking
really
about
fun.
slamming,
if you're thinking about
just
slamming,
do
just
it.
Slam. Just slam.
Just slam. All right. Let's dive into these races. We start off with the women's short distance 800 meters, and it was a race that could have played out in a variety of different ways. And the way I kind of expected things to go, just kind of overhearing some breakfast chatter, was going to be that Mary Moore was going to go out in 54, or Shafiqua was going to take it out in 56. The 800 meter specialist trying to make it the 1500 meter specialist hurt, but really they didn't. It was first lap was 60, I think, by Mary Moore.
60 mid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was anyone's race, and Mary Mora just kind of went and showed people hey, yeah, I'm the world champion. I can close in. It was 13 seconds or something like that for the final 100. Once she got her spot up in the front, she never let up. But the race behind Mary Mora was super fascinating because you had Nikki Hiltz just willing themselves up as far as possible into the standings and actually out-kicking for Winnie Hailu, which was big, but Nikki ends up just 2 points shy of the slam title. Hailu ends up taking the $100,000, keeping the short distance crown in Ethiopian hands. So what were your big takeaways watching this race unfold?
Mary Moore is back.
Mm-hmm.
We actually got to talk to her after the race, and she said she was sick in Kingston. She wasn't feeling well. She's better now. Training is underway. And I think, what we've said is true for everyone. We need to give these champions, these Olympic champions, the benefit of the doubt that, hey, it doesn't have to look perfect from Kingston. We are going to see all of the athletes progress in real time. And it made me happy to see Mary Mora's last 50 is alive and well. And I love seeing, I love an underdog story, but I also love a redemption arc for someone who is on top, maybe has struggled, but you love to see champions win.
I think it's kind of similar to like Marco with in the Marco side. Like, if Mary can figure out the 1500, if she stays healthy and stays, racing like we know she's capable of, if she can figure out the 15, she's going to be pretty tough to beat. I think Nikki came second in Kingston too overall for the Slam. Nikki's just very, very competitive in every race they're doing, but especially great to see them racing really well in the 800. Closing very strong. I wonder if they were to run it back, how Nikki would want to do that race. But very exciting race, competitive throughout, and very fun.
I had breakfast with Nikki and kind of piggybacking off of just sort of what you guys shared with them, during the race breakdown about how they wish that they would have just gotten the jump on Hailu in that first race and regretting that. But then upon, speaking with Coach Julie Benson, the takeaways were you still closed in 2:01, and that's remarkable for this point in the season. And so I think it's funny the way that the, setup is, where it's you go through the mix zone and the content creator zone before even seeing your coach, and your coach kind of reinforces to you hey, actually that was really good. And this is the big takeaway from the race. And so I think overall from the whole entire weekend, Nikki's got to be feeling so great.
I think that's a good point, Chris, because athletes and people in general, you see the negative, right? You point out your mistake first before you think about all of the great things that you did. So that coach-athlete relationship and that quick debrief is a super important thing to focus on the positive, focus on what you did well, and continue to execute and improve on those things that make you and make you a great racer. So I hope that Nikki's walking away feeling really good.
I think so too. And it'll be interesting, just the different set of challengers that come into this one. I'm fingers crossed, hoping that Keely Hodgkinson has kind of teased the idea of potentially doing one of the slams. It could be LA. And so what we see about Mary Mora, how she's kind of taken to the two events, I think Keely would be pretty well suited for it. But, to your point, Eric, about just the 800-meter specialist just kind of hammering home the point, this is my race. And so that's where you got to maximize on points. I do think that in the Marco comparison, Mary's learning curve is just so much bigger right now than Marco. Marco's so much closer. But again, we've seen these races unfold in a variety of different ways that will prove valuable come championship season for all of the participants involved. So I thought that this was an awesome way to kickstart the final day here at Grand Slam Track Miami. So after that, we shift on over to the short hurdles. 100 on the men's side, where it was thrilling because we did see just sort of all the hype coming into this one was Sasha Zoya versus Trey Cunningham, and Trey having the confidence of no, I'm the fastest guy in this field, and totally backed it up.
He dominated. Actually, I was standing right behind the athletes before they step on the track, and you see Sasha jumping out, you see all these guys. Trey is the last one announced, and he's just I got this. His confidence was through the roof before they got on the track, and he dominated. He got the win, and so he swept the 110 hurdles and the 100 meters. I mean, Trey he wasn't necessarily on cloud nine. He had that confidence, and I love that he really ran extremely fast in both the 110 hurdles and the 100. So Trey Cunningham really displayed his consistency, his dominance. He showed why he's a true double threat. He even said afterwards that he would love to run more hundreds. He can't get into any races because he's not a true 100-meter sprinter, but he would really love to potentially run some of these future slams.
10:17 impress you?
Yeah, I mean, his personal best, I think, was 10:2 from last year, and 10:17 coming off a 110 hurdles yesterday amongst a field of guys who were pretty competitive. Sasha won the 100 last time. Jamal Britt actually kind of ran him to the line running 10:2. So this was a competitive race, and I think this is going to build the confidence for Trey, where we spoke about it yesterday, where the 110 hurdles are extremely competitive with Cordell Tinch, with Grant Holloway, with all these guys. I think this is going to consistently build that confidence for Trey, especially as he hasn't been on a team since 2022. He's kind of been battling back from injury. I think this is just going to be a confidence and motivation builder.
after processing all of the results from this weekend, you've got Cordell, you've got doing his thing out in China, you've got Trey here this weekend. Like, where do you see the men's 110 hurdles right now?
It's so competitive. Like, I would love to say someone like Grant, even though he had a hiccup in China and he wasn't able to compete in the second Diamond League. He's probably still in the driver's seat because he's the defending champ. He doesn't actually even have to worry about USA's, right? He's straight to Worlds. But then someone like Trey getting a win over a very competitive field here. You had Daniel Roberts, who's the Olympic silver medalist. You had Freddie Crittenden, who finished, I think, top 5 or 6 at the Olympics. Like, he was able to get a win there. But then you have guys like Daniel who shows up at USA. So it's still very competitive amongst these guys. But I would say Grant probably in the driver's seat, Trey probably right behind, and then you're looking at Cordell and everyone else.
Did Trey stop with you guys in the content creators?
Yeah, we talked to them. It's like, super 13 flat, 10-1. Like, he's in the shape of his life. He said, I asked him, like, what has been working so well this season? He said it's just kind of like the mental game. Like, he's been fit. He's stayed the course as far as training goes, but he's just talking about, like, the mental aspect of racing, and he feels like that's, like, kind of that's happening at the right time, right place, right time for him.
Yeah. How was the content creator zone? Best day yet?
I think yesterday was our best day.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on over to the next one. We had the women's long distance, 3,000 meters.
Okay.
Just let it be.
Am I wrong?
No, you're dead. You're absolutely right. I'm like, as far as our days go, it goes 2-1 today.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll review all that footage later.
Okay.
All right. So the women's long distance. This one was so fast out of the gun for the 3K. Agnes Gedich doing what she does. I mean, major props to her because this is just like, I guess, the style that she's developed. And after seeing the men's races unfold, I was like, just put Agnes as a challenger in like the men's long distance group to
bring
like
it out
a
bit,
wind things up a little bit. But I mean, she made this race, although she didn't come away with the win. It was such a physical final 200 meters where you had, Ngedich swing wide, Mishesha pushing from the front, Medina Isa caught up in there as well, and it was thrilling, all things considered. And so the result was that here at Mishesha, who's already been running super well this season, ends up winning an 8:22, and then but the slam title goes to Agnes Gedich, who super well deserved, I guess, for the effort that she put into both of those races. But this one was actually very thrilling.
So Janeth Chepengedich takes the lead. Her first split was 62.8. Like that's you're gonna run a fast 1500. Like you're gonna come through in a Diamond League in 62 for your first lap in a 1500.
Have you gone out in 62 for like a mile at any point or something like that?
I mean, maybe I've gone out in 64 and no, maybe 63. I was in Sivan Hassan's world record attempt in Monaco 2019. I walked the last 100. I'm not kidding. My last 100 was over 20 seconds. Like I came through the 15 pretty well, and then it was like, like it was the most pain I've ever been in my life. It was like I was dipped in acid. It doesn't feel good. Now imagine you're doing that for 3K. Like that is really, really tough.
Then they settled into like some 68s.
They settled into like 67, 68, like regular fast 3K pace, but really, really impressive. And there's chatter online of the distance runners need pacers. This is no, they do not, because we just had 8:22, 8:23, 8:23, 8:24, like a thrilling race that was just created by these women. It was incredible.
Yeah. What did you think, Eric?
Oh, I thought this, like, we were watching the stands and. You saw Elise Cranny get gapped a bit, right out the gates, like first lap, and then you see why, like 62. I mean, the guys would be gapped too. Like, that's a really hot pace, but it wasn't just like it was strung out, but people went with it.
People went.
You got to feel so happy for Agnes, like to be rewarded with the overall Grand Slam victory after all the work and doing the work in Kingston but coming up short in both the races, like to come away with the win. And I think I like you saw her because it wasn't crystal clear, right? Like right away.
Yeah.
You had to crunch some numbers, and when she was told that she got the win, like she was just over the moon, and like those are the moments that are really exciting.
This was the first time that a winner was decided by a tie, right?
Yes.
So
very good point, Anderson. It was 18-18, right?
18-18.
Yeah.
So that means the tiebreaker is what was the highest place that you had, and both of them went 1 and 3. And
Yeah.
so then that means, okay, we got to go to our second tiebreaker, and that's what was the overall combined time, and that's where Ngedic's 14:25 for 5K won her the slam title. So
it pays to make it hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were
It-
back there doing math, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does. It does pay to go fast.
Did you guys get down to the bottom of whether or not this was her first track race? Because I think I got the answer.
Track win.
Track win.
No,
Yeah.
we tried. We
We were speaking with Trey.
I'm like, now we're getting into the guy. Yeah.
Now we're back in. Now we're seeing.
This is our worst day.
We're seeing our demons from the content creator zone.
Yeah, we tried to get her, Chris. I promise you. We were interviewing Trey, and she just sprinted by.
Okay.
She was like, "I'm not doing." She's like,
That-
"You hear these guys plotting. I'm gonna make my escape." But no, we didn't get to the. To answer your question, no, we didn't get to the bottom. If this was,
Long story short.
yeah.
Her last win.
I'm like, you want to hear an excuse?
on
No.
the track.
Because we have many.
Her last win on the track was that was not her first win.
Yeah.
Kyle just spreading misinformation
Yeah.
yesterday. She won a race in Kenya in December 22nd, 2019. It was like a 5K.
I mean, it
Super
still is
slow.
it is
Been
a
a while.
long,
That's a long time.
I
Yeah.
That's
tried
a
pulling
drought.
out a fun fact on the broadcast, being like, "Hey, what was the top song at that moment?" It was like, "Well, All I Want for Christmas Is You," because it was just so close to Christmas, and so that's always the #1 song in the country around that time.
Yeah.
But dumb fun fact,
Yeah,
like.
so you pulled that out with.
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
decided last minute.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
like,
glad you did
that
it.
was really like that would be terrible.
They're like, what's like? That's fun for you.
Yeah. You hear like everyone do a fake laugh, like, wow.
Yeah. John Anderson's like, God.
Chris
Cut the
immediately
feed.
fired
Yeah.
out.
then you have to look for someone else. Like, all right.
Wait, actually, let's bring up the fact that you got off the stage and
Oh, yeah, just now?
got misidentified.
Yeah, so I was you probably can't see it from like this camera angle, but there's still like a bunch of like fans up in that corner, and so they're like taking pictures of Sonia Richards-Ross and asking her for her autograph. And so now I'm like walking over here, and I just hear people going, Matthew, and I was like, what?
Is my fade that tight?
So then
No, I like how you immediately did say like they are screaming for me.
And we were like, no, they're not.
Yeah, like we were like,
Like,
oh,
it's
I guess,
probably
like
Matthew Hudson
yeah.
Smith.
And,
Yeah,
and Chris
yeah,
like, oh no, they want me.
So then I start walking over, and then they're like, Matthew, and I'm like, I'm not Matthew, and they're like, huh? Where is he? And I was like, he wasn't here this weekend. And they're like, who are you? I was like, I'm Chris. Like, and then they just walked
You
away.
should have just signed it as Matthew.
I
Why
should have.
not? Like,
I should
Who
have.
gives a shit? Just sign as Matthew. Also, so funny because
Imagine.
they were like genuinely screaming.
Screaming.
And so I was like, this is like a Centro super fan.
Yeah.
And like
I just
because
let them down.
they were like, it was nonstop. You were even walking over there, still yelling. Like
Yeah.
you're locked eyes with them. They're
You
coming
made
with-
eye
and they're
contact.
still hollering Matthew.
It reminds me of like, you ever see those tweets where like it's like someone posts like, oh, I met like such and such celebrity at the club last night, and then it's a photo of them with a random
Yeah,
person who
yeah,
looks
yeah.
nothing like them. Like
Yeah.
I was ready for them, I guess, to take a photo with me and be like, oh, so excited to meet Matthew Centrowitz at
Yeah.
Grand
Oh.
Slam
You should
track.
you should have
And
let
it was-
it happen.
Get that on Twitter. Let Centro respond. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, didn't happen. So they're just heartbroken, I guess, going home. All right, next up was the long hurdles men's 400. Alison dos Santos with a 44.53 to just beat out the likes of Chris Robinson, who is the world leader right now. I mean, this just was showcased tremendous speed from him.
This was perfect, and he got a personal best here. Alison dos Santos, like Aisha's dropping
Aisha's
off.
out. All right.
See ya, Aisha. Really good meet. We had a lot of fun. Goodbye.
Oh. Bye.
Good job, everyone.
Good job, Aisha.
Great weekend.
All right, and just like that, Aisha's gone.
Aisha's gone, but Yeah, Alison dos Santos, like he wanted to display that dominance. I think he felt that, okay, Chris Robinson, he was the world leader. People were kind of talking about like, oh, could Chris turn the tables? He knew that he wanted to get the win here, and he once again, just like Kingston, he swept. But Chris Robinson on the outside, he was in lane 7 while Allison was on one of the middle lanes. Chris Robinson was really fighting. He was like on the outside. He was really pushing, because probably in his mind, he was like, hey, if I win this, I can maybe potentially get, the overall win. But second place, overall, I think this was a good one for Chris and Allison.
I thought Allison just executed a much better race than he did in Kingston as
yeah.
well. Watching him run, I mean, it's just how tall he is. Like, that stride is insane.
How tall is
crazy.
he?
He's like
6'5".
He might be 6'5".
Taller.
Could be taller.
He could be 6'7". All right,
Yeah.
Paul, how tall are you? Paul's 6'2",
then-
and he was holding his phone up pretty high, so
Oh,
6'7" is what I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
yeah,
with.
that's what I'm feeling. But it's true. It's like he's so tall. He has like such a really, I don't know, an amazing stride, and just like his form, it's almost like, I don't know, it's really, really graceful, but it's also very powerful, the way that
he's genuinely built for this.
Yeah, he's built for this. So, yeah, and like 44.5 is no easy feat. And especially when you have a lot of competition in the race, this, I think, just is going to be really telling for Allison as he goes into the next ones. He's probably thinking, I want to continue this streak of sweeping the 400 hurdles, the 400. I want to go into Philly. Chris Robinson might get an invitation back as a challenger again. So they're just going to keep building that little rivalry that they have.
Yeah, so did you pull out the stat that I shared with you in the mix zone with him?
Oh, which one was it?
So that what Dos Santos ran today was faster than what Muzala Samakanga ran in the race
Open 400
2
yesterday.
days ago or yesterday, whenever it was. And Muzala Samakanga is the Olympic bronze medalist.
Yeah, which is crazy. So the fact that he's essentially in the conversation with Olympic medalists, right, coming in the Open 400 as a 400-meter hurdler.
It's like, what could he have do if he dedicated just himself to just one event? I mean, that's what we've kind of thought in the past about the likes of Ry Benjamin, Carson Warholm.
Chris Robinson was the world leader in the 400. Like, he's in this field. Like, you have a lot of these 400 hurdlers who you unfortunately don't think of them as an open 400 runner, but they're clearly showing that they have the capability to do it. So
yeah. All right. So on a similar note too, I think we just saw in the women's long sprint something totally similar. Marileidy Paulino just dominated. I mean, she's such a joy to watch, and just how much power she packs into the ground. And that in the final 50 meters of this one, she just looked unstoppable. And so she ends up winning in 22.3.
Yeah.
Also, on a similar note, faster than what Olympic bronze medalist Brittany Brown ran. I mean, it was her season opener.
Yeah, her season's opener, so it's all relative.
Still, Paulino, I think, is 6th in the world, or 2 in the world, or 6 in the world.
In the 200?
Yeah.
Oh, she's like number 3, because also they ran faster, like Tamara Davis, Gabby Thomas, like the other day. But I think that, just to her form, I think she has some of the best form. It's not perfect or the traditional form, but her arm swing is insane, going down the home straight, around the curve, and she's one who's always a gamer. I spoke to her after the race, shout out to the translator, but she was saying that she was motivated by the fact that she lost to Sawa and Gabby in Kingston. Like, she wanted to come back and win, not only in the 4, but also in the 200. So for her to really kind of push through, get the overall sweep, this is her, 400, 200 overall slam win. This is a big, big moment for Paulino.
Yeah, I think this is a different Paulino than we saw in Kingston. This is the one who has her full confidence. She reminded everyone she's the Olympic champion, and she's back in Sawa Eid Nasser's head, I think.
Yeah. I think this is another rivalry that's so exciting. And it's they're not 200 runners, and sure, she ran 22.3. It was a national record, but I don't even know if the time matters. I was thinking about, okay, how is she going to take on Sawa, who's on the inside? How is Sawa going to potentially respond? That's what I'm thinking about. Now, going into Philly, Sawa's probably thinking, okay, I need my lick back, right?
Yeah.
That's what is really intriguing.
The other thing too is that if you're Paulino and you're thinking bigger picture now that you have this full understanding, you're a racer signed onto the league, the Racer of the Year bonus being 100K, you gotta stack your points now, because that last slam is going to be very difficult if we continue to hype up the potential field that might be there with Sydney or Gabby moving up to that one. So you're not guaranteed 24 points at every one of these, and so she gets 24 coming out of this weekend, coupled with the 20 or something that she had last time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's up there. Paulino is playing this really smart.
Yeah, she's playing this smart. So yeah. That was a good one.
Was there anyone else in that field that impressed you in the long sprints? Isabella Whitaker?
Isabella Whitaker is one coming out of the NCAA. She won the 400 indoors in an NCAA record, but she recently just ran an 800 PB of 202 like a couple weeks back. She, of course, did what she does in the 400, and now she just ran 22.7 in the 200. Like, you're talking about impeccable range for someone who's fresh out of the NCAA, and she's beating out, athletes like a Nikisha Price or an Alexis Holmes, like significantly faster athletes. So this is a really kind of, I don't know, not necessarily a coming out party, but she's kind of showing that she can really be in the mix with some of these athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I think she ran in an unattached kit like this entire weekend.
Yeah.
So whatever that pro deal is going to end up looking like is going to be pretty big because they'd be signing one of America's top rising stars.
Exactly.
All right, then after that, we had the men's long distance where we had the 5,000 meters. Went out in 77, 78, and like it was a jog fest from the very beginning, which isn't all that surprising, right? Because it's like you've been harping on the fact it's like if they don't want to lead, the guys aren't going to do it. It was also pretty warm, too. The shade, we have shade now, and it's a little bit covered, but it's been in the 80s after the rain, a little bit humid. But overall, I thought that we saw what the women did just before that. But this one was just playing right into Grant's hands from the beginning, and then it takes him dropping like a 58, I think, in the middle of the whole entire thing to blow this thing totally open. And then from there, no one had a response when he closed in, I think it was 3:57 for the last 1,600 meters.
Yeah, it played out, honestly, pretty similar to how I thought it would. They're not going to run... they're not going to run really fast. It's not going to be the same like it was with the women's. What I was surprised of was how easily, Grant ran a 58 and 3:57 last mile, which is impressive. But these athletes are capable. Like, it's not just Grant who's able to do that. I was surprised that nobody decided to go with him when he made that move. I think a mile ago, right? He was with a mile ago. He ran a 58, and it was done. It was like he had like a 60-meter lead with 3 laps to go after running a 58. I'm in the stands watching it. I'm like, did he look? He ran like a 51.
Yeah.
I was like, no. How did no? I do think maybe some people just didn't quite expect it to be. I don't know. Like, he just got the jump on people, and I think that I'm sure that everybody in the field looking back, it was like, look, if they run it again, they're going to cover that move a bit more. I was a little bit surprised that they really gave it to him that easily, and I'm sure he is too.
Yeah, I thought it would be like Ronald Quemoy. He was up toward the front for a little bit, but he hasn't really shown the form that it's early that got him an Olympic silver medal. I thought maybe Cooper would be the one to respond, but then I think we ended up with everyone settling into the mindset of like, all right, yes, it is going to be Grant, and he's going to get his 200K now over the course of 2 slams. But Coskren versus Cooper was a race in and of itself, and so that's what ended up happening in that backpack. And Coskren ends up second in the slam standings, and then third was Cooper. So now I think Cooper has made the podium at each one of the last 2
slams. Third in the last 2.
Quietly putting together a very good season, I think.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. This is the type of racing that's going to suit Cooper.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very experienced with this type of racing, and I'm not surprised at all to see. And he's got wheels, right? Mm-hmm. This is a U.S. 1,500 meter champion, so he's got the closing speed. It's impressive. Like, Grant's just very smart in these races. He knows, okay, you see Grant hit the lead and just completely blow the field away. He knew, okay, I have to beat Coskren, and I need to beat him by a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're Grant, you're thinking, okay, if I leave this to even 800 to go in a slow race, I might not put enough time between me and Coskren. So I need to go a little bit farther out. I don't think that Coskren's going to have the strength to maybe go from a mile out and run a 3:57. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. And he's really, again, like savvy racing by Grant. I'm excited to see like how is anybody going to throw a wrench in his game plan and break up him sweeping all the slams.
Yeah. So the thing with Grant is that for this one he decided he knows who he is. He's like, I'm a 5K 10K guy. I'm not a miler 5K guy, and so I made the mistake in the first race, and so I needed to turn this into a race that favors a 5K 10K person. And so that meant going with a mile out because the likes of Koskinen or Mills or Tier is not going to be able to really respond as hard as maybe that they thought. And so, perfect execution by Grant. He's, just pocketing a variety of different races and tactics that will be valuable come championship season when it's up to any different type of race. So
yeah, for sure.
That was the men's long distance group, and then we shift on over to the women's long hurdles 400
yep.
where Sydney runs 49-69.
Yeah,
really strong time, dominated this race. I actually kind of, Sydney joined the broadcast set afterwards, and she's had the TV screen with the results in front of her, and she spots what her first 200 split was. Do you have it there?
Yeah, it was 24:28.
And she was like, no. Like that. She was like, I want to be closer to 23.5. And it was critical about that performance, and I like that because like we see the dominant side of Sydney, but she's got a bigger plan. There's Bobby Kersey obviously has a big plan for her this season, but no surprise here with Sydney winning.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to it's hard to read Sydney sometimes, right? She's very reserved, in general, a lot more quiet relative to some other athletes, but you can tell that she wants to be, she wants to run fast. She wants to prove, okay, I am the best out here, even if she doesn't come out and say it, or that's what I'm thinking she's thinking. But yeah, she really showed. I can almost watch her in her races, like when she's just running, watch her face. I can feel like she's working on things. I can feel like she's trying to execute in a certain way that her and Bobby spoke about. And yeah, to run 49.6 here, I think that's a really good performance coming off what she did in the hurdles the other day, and now going into Philly where she's going to be dropping down into 100 and 100 hurdles.
Yeah, so now she has 24 points from this one.
Yeah.
So on top of that, she's now up to 48. She is the most dominant athlete right now, just in general across the whole entire league. I think in total won her four races by over 4 seconds, or I think her 2 races here by 4 seconds in the total time. Yeah, Sydney is on top of the world right now, and when it was funny that she did join the set before it went live, she was like, oh, it's really nice to be up here. I don't know, and I don't think I'll be up here after the next one because I have to run the 100, and so that's what's so enticing is that Sydney's going to have to run the 100 and the 100-meter hurdles in Philly next time. She'll have a big crowd because she's from the New Jersey area, so that's what's exciting about Sydney and the greater plan for the season. And then behind Sydney, I mean, Anna Hall was, I think, one of the most impressive performances, in my opinion, because she ends up running, let's see,
51.68.
Yeah.
So that was a strong performance for Anna Hall on the outside, where she really had a good weekend overall. It was a question on what she was capable of doing, considering she hadn't run the hurdles in a couple years, considering she hadn't even run the 400. You don't do that in the multi. So for her to come and mix herself up amongst some of these women in the 400 hurdles, this is a big motivator for whatever's going forward, potentially in future slams or all of that. I think this is big for Anna.
The coolest thing about Anna Hall is when you watch her race and then afterwards walk away from any performance being like, imagine if she dedicated herself to that one event for the whole year. Right. And she'd be a master at all of them. And that goes for any part of the heptathlon, I think.
It makes me think of Ashton Eaton, was it? I think 2014. He dropped the multis and he went into the 400 hurdles. He was really kind of cooking on the circuit. So Anna Hall is someone who could actually do that.
Yeah, and actually next year is the World Ultimate Championships, which the multis are not part of, to my understanding.
Yeah,
and so this is actually maybe the real test of seeing what could Anna do if she chose one event and spent the whole year, focusing on it. So
this could be good. And also just to note on Sydney going forward, where she's going to be dropping down. She very clearly spoke about the fact that We saw Masai Russell and Tia Jones like head-to-head breaking both of them under the American record. You saw Kira Nugent running extremely fast in the 100. Like she's maybe not going to be keeping this dominant score so far.
Yeah, wait. So your initial thoughts as as we get closer to Philly, we'll have a much more thought out preview. But is Sydney the favorite in the flat 100 of that group?
Oh, that's a good question. Because now I'm remembering last year she almost broke 22 seconds in the 200. Yeah. So it's possible, but again, Akira Nugent ran 11:09. Like that's very, very fast. But I do feel like you can argue Sydney is probably all around the most talented athlete where you're talking about hurdles and sprints across the board, with the women. So she could break 11 seconds or maybe could go into the field as one of the favorites slightly.
Yeah, you got a couple weeks for Bobby Kersey to work his magic and get her into 100-meter shape.
That's going to be interesting to watch.
So, I mean, if she could be close enough.
She could be close enough, yeah.
Well, I mean, just in the 100 hurdles, it is a stacked field. But then after that, like, the 100, she could make up a lot of points.
Yeah, the thing is, with Grand Slam, because of how it works, if she manages to win the 100, she's in a very good position going into the 100 hurdles where she could be in the mix. And especially if she's going to be fast in the 100, then that means she's really going to be in form for that 100 hurdles.
Has Masai Russell raced Sydney?
I don't think so. think so.
When Masai was a 400 hurdler?
No, because I don't think they had any crossover when they were in college. So, yeah.
Fascinating.
Possible,
we get a clash of Olympic champions in Philly.
Crazy.
All right, next up, and to close it all out, we had the short sprints men's 200 where Kenny Bednarek goes 19:84, which is a world-leading time, and is now swept all 4 of his Grand Slam track races. And so on the men's side, he's the most dominant athlete.
He is the most dominant athlete. He wanted to make a statement here, especially, like I said the day before, coming off the men's long sprints where they ran 19.86. He wanted to get the world lead here. Kenny, he just exudes so much confidence. And I feel like with Grand Slam track, it's giving him, the platform to kind of showcase not only his personality with the walk-ins and everything, but also just like his dominance on the track. And the thing that I found most interesting was in the mix zone, he was talking about how in previous years, he wasn't able to get into big races like Diamond Leagues in the 100-meter dash, right? He wasn't able to get into those races. But now he's saying, I don't even need to do that anymore. I'm showing that I am the best. Yeah. I am the best. Well, I'm the best 100-meter sprinter as it comes to the 100 meters here in the Grand Slam.
Is Kenny on top of the pecking order right now, like all things considered, when it comes to how we view the men's 100 on the U.S. side of things? Like Noah Lyles hasn't shown anything just yet, right?
Just yet, yeah. I think it's tricky. I think with Noah, we know that Noah is going to show up at championships. He's a defending Olympic champion and world champion. So I would say that Noah probably still is in the driver's seat for the U.S., but Kenny is really making his case as to why he's easily the second best 100-meter sprinter right now in the United States. He finished second to Noah at U.S. trials last year. He made it to the Olympic final. So I think there's no reason to say that outside of Noah, I'm not sure anyone is really touching Kenny in the U.S.
What about the 200?
I mean, over Noah?
Yeah.
Not yet? That's tricky. Because, again, Noah is the 200 guy. 3-time defending world champion in the 200.
Kenny beat him in Paris?
He did. It's true. I think Kenny's making the case. I'm not ready to say yet.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say that Kenny is ahead of Noah. And the thing about Noah is he has the wild card to the world championships. Yeah. But Kenny is making a very strong case as to why he very likely could be the best 200-meter runner, not only in the United States, but in the world.
Yeah.
So,
because I guess we haven't even seen the best of Tobogo so far this season yet.
We haven't. But, I mean, the field he's running against, Zarno Hughes is an amazing 200-meter runner. Oblique Seville just set a personal best. Andre DeGrasse, the former Olympic champion, was in this field. So, Kenny is really showcasing why he is just so dominant across the board in the sprints.
Yeah.
This was good.
Eric, what do you predict Kenny should do, or what do you think he should do for his walk-in come Philly?
Look, I don't know. What do I think he should do? That's not for me to decide, Chris. I don't like. I'll let
Ben Franklin costume.
I'll let Kenny do that. Yes, if that would be a huge switch up. It'd be absolutely hysterical. He should do a Ben Franklin. He should fly a kite in. It would be a lot, dude. Like what you guys were just talking about. He's just got like. He's building so much momentum and so much. It's
aura.
He's got the aura. He's just so much momentum, so much confidence. he looks untouchable right now in these sprint events. Every time he's on the track for the slam, performances are just looking great, stacking up. So, I mean, what do you think Noah is? Even though he's got the pass for, he doesn't need to race USA's. Like, do you think he'll race it just to get more races under his belt?
Anderson's theory is that Noah will race the 400 at USA's. I don't know after the Florida race.
One he did. Yeah, that was my initial theory before he actually did run this. I think he might pull what Grant Holloway usually does, where he runs like a round and then he just like bows out. But he may run maybe just 100. I'm not. It's hard to tell.
Well, the funny thing is I think that he might have comments, or some of these champions have gone on to have comments in the mix where they're like, yeah, you know what, like I'm always going to run the championships and like go through all the different rounds, and then it's sort of suddenly like when the seat gets a little too hot, they're like, all right, I'm going to back off of that. So I actually would have to review the tape and see what past interviews we have about like has Noah said something like that in the past before, but. We're still, I think, 2 months away, 3 months away? What did we say about it?
I think it's 3 months.
3 months away from USA's.
Yeah.
And we've got two more slams on the calendar, tons of other meets along the way. But this one was a true joy. Again, like I think in Kingston, it kind of just got, its feet on the ground, and now it's starting to pick up steam and get going here with GST's inaugural season.
For sure.
I'll also just say I spoke with Michael afterwards as well, Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
And he was obviously elated about, what happened in Miami. Sold out crowd, I think on Saturday. The fans were there. The energy was there. And he was saying that he's, of course, taking feedback along the way. He's making iterations. He's preparing for, like, ideas that they can go, they can implement in the future. Maybe even next year, they may not only maybe move around to different cities, but also even add cities. Maybe keep these 4 and potentially add some. So
yeah, it's like we've been talking about the athletes. Like each time they've come out, they're going to be a bit sharper. I think the exact same thing with the Grand Slam in general. It's like this was a big step up, just kind of in production from Kingston. You're going to learn. It's like you're not going to come out the gates with a perfect, finished product right away in a new thing like this when you're taking such a big swing. But this did feel better than Kingston, and I'm excited to see what they take from this, what they learn, what they improve on to going into Philly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're media partners. I was contracted to be part of the broadcast, but you got to just in general give major kudos to the team behind all of this, Michael and all that stuff, for taking all of the criticism, the feedback that they got after the first one, and getting their just thoughts in order, asking people around, taking all of that, and really applying a bunch of different things this time around to make the product better. And so each time out, that's the hope. It continues to get better. And so we'll see what Philly has in store for us. So if you are in the Northeast area, this is your chance to go and watch Grand Slam Track in person. Tickets are on sale right now at grandslamtrack.com/events. CITIUS Mag will be there. We'll have tons of coverage. I think we've seen a couple instances of our track hat make it onto the broadcast. We've got athletes wearing them. We've got the family members of certain athletes wearing them. And they're on sale now. You can go check them out at citiusmagshop.com. They're a hit. Get them before they're gone. It's a limited drop, only for a limited time. So get those. And then on top of that, be sure you're subscribed to the CITIUS Mag YouTube channel, where we've got tons of interviews, tons of shows. Good Morning Track and Field was a hit. Maybe it's time now that we incorporate this into a regular podcast with you and I.
Let's do it, Chris.
Do it. Yeah.
Roll it out.
And then, keep up with Anderson's analysis of all of the races on the Final Leg YouTube channel.
Yep.
Tons more coming in the aftermath of Miami. This has been one heck of a weekend. I've been Chris Chavez, Eric Jenkins, Anderson Emerald. Aisha Prattlier is at the airport. Mac Fleet is behind the keys. Paul Hoff-Mahoney has been clipping this thing for social media and just getting a ton of interviews on set. Johnny Zhang behind the camera. Amy, Lori, and Jason DeLeon producing some videos that you'll see rolled out over the course of the next couple of weeks. David Melly, Jasmine Fair, Audrey Allen just running social behind the scenes. So
whole team.
It takes a whole team to pull this off. And so thanks everyone for tuning in for 3 awesome days of racing here at Grand Slam Track. I love slamming.
Chris, I love your tagline. I love slamming.
I love slamming. I love slamming.
That's it. We'll see you guys next time.